My name is Britt, better known as Default Dan, and today we're going to be taking a look at the raids that just came out. They just dropped today. Our club has already made it through the first tier, or the first phase of a tier 5 raid, so we're going to be looking at it today, checking out what it's all about, jumping into phase 2 with Flotsam and Jetsam, and checking out kind of what kind of damage we can do, what's there. This is the first time I'm really seeing any of this. I've seen some, videos, postings, things like that, but haven't actually got to get my hands on it yet. So today we're gonna be jumping in here. We're gonna be seeing how much damage we can do, seeing if there's anything we can find out, any kind of tactics or anything like that. You'll see the teams I'm gonna be throwing together. At this point, I think it's just gonna be doing as much damage as we possibly can. There's no real possibility of going into phase 3 at this point. With tier 5, we're having to do a lot of damage. So we're gonna look at that. I'm gonna pull up the screens, we're gonna pick some teams, and we're gonna see how it goes. So we can see the leaderboard right now. If you guys haven't really jumped into Rage, which I'm sure at this point everybody's at least checked it out, they've tried to do something, but we've got our leaderboard. You can see there's some pretty big damage numbers from today up on the board. We're gonna see where we can land on here. I can't promise that we'll go up to the top or anything like that, because we've got some big heavy hitters in the club, but I'm gonna see what we can do. We have Flotsam and Jetsam. If we take a look at this just real quick with the details, we'll go into phase 2. We've got both these guys. They essentially have the exact same spells, same things going on. But the biggest thing that they're going to be doing is inflicting poison. So they're going to be dealing a percentage of the opponent's max health as damage each turn. It can't be cleansed, so things like Baymax are not going to help us here, but you can reduce that duration by healing. So the first team I really want to try is our Little Mermaid team. So we've got Triton, we've got Ariel, with Stitch is who I'm kind of hoping. So we're going to see how they go, but with Ariel's heal, I really feel like we're going to have something going on within this team. And I think I'm going to get maybe a little crazy. Maybe we'll put Baymax in there. We got to find a 5th. So we're going to be looking at that a little bit. But the idea here is they can't be affected. They can't be affected by silence. They can't be affected by sleep. Every time you target them with an ability, their speed meter is going to go up. No stun, no polymorph. Essentially, we're going to have to do this the hard way. And one thing to point out is they can be charmed, but I haven't tried it yet. Same thing with some of the guys in the club. I don't think anybody in the club yet has actually been able to charm anyone. Basically, their tenacity is probably so high it's going to be very difficult. But it is one of the only control type spells that are not listed here, so it could be interesting. We've also got the ability from these guys where they can get stealth, and I'm hoping with Triton that's not really going to matter. We're going to be able to do enough damage to kind of get around that. So we're going to see what happens. I believe what we're really going to do is just taking our big heavy hitters. We've got Frozen team, we've got Big Hero 6, we've got 2 different Oceanic teams, and then we'll see kind of what ends up being our 5th team that we can put together to try to do as much damage. But we've got a couple hours before reset, so there's no reason why not to just throw in some of our best guys. And then tomorrow we'll see if we can try to find some synergy and things like that as well. So we're going to jump in here. We're going to see we've got 0 of 5 attempts so far. So let's see what we can do.
Hello.
All right, so save teams. Again, we've got a couple big teams. We've got the Oceanic team. I'm going to steal Stitch off of this team for the Triton team. We've got the Big Hero 6 team with Yokai. Could be interesting having the summons and things like that on the field. We're also going to be taking in the Frozen team. There's a chance I may change out Olaf for someone like Zerg just to see if I can get as much damage in there. To me, Olaf doesn't seem like he's going to be as good here, even though he does have continuous damage or continuous healing, which could counteract some of that poison. And then we may finish it off with something like Kingdom. It's not necessarily my strongest team, but maybe interesting. Another thing is I may take the Doctor into the Frozen team, because that one could actually turn out to be pretty good. So let's kind of start with... We'll start with Big Hero 6. Let's kind of get them out of the way. I'm really curious how this goes. Again, haven't done a raid yet, so this is probably the team I feel the best with. But before we jump in there, let's just double check what we have on our teams in case we want to use any of those characters. We've got, let's see, so we've got Frozen that we mentioned. Probably going to switch out Olaf maybe for the Doctor with his heals. I may put the Doctor needs to be with Shadow. Shadow's not really going to help the Little Mermaid team. So I think I'm going to put the Doctor here. That way if Sven goes down early, I can still Shadow the Doctor. I can Shadow Sven if I need to and put those taunts over there with the Doctor. So we'll probably do that. So that takes care of that team. The other Oceanic team, so we're going to be losing Stitch here. So instead of Stitch, we've got some room to put another good character in there. So, trying to think of another big damage dealer. Maybe I'll put Zerg with the Oceanics. He doesn't really have the synergy, but he's a big damage dealer. So that's probably going to make sense with that team. The only other thing is I could tear apart the Big Hero 6 team a little bit and possibly put Fred instead of Baymax. So I could pull Baymax out, or I could pull Hero, which I don't want to pull Hero because of his leadership. So I could put Baymax with my Oceanics, which I think I'm going to do that. So I think that'll be good. We'll do Fred up into the other Big Hero 6 team. So let's start there. We're gonna pull Baymax out of the team, put Fred in there, and kind of start there and see how it goes. Again, this is tier 5, so just kind of keep that in mind. They're going to be doing some serious damage. I think some of the average damages we've seen in the club are around the probably anywhere from 60 to 90k. We definitely see some higher damages from the team, but on average we're probably getting around that 80 90k mark. So let me just double check skills now. So we've got heals. I think this heal is actually going to go down to Triton, which means hammer probably still fine here. I think this is going to be the hardest part of any raid, is kind of putting all your characters together and understanding what's going to be the best mash of the teams. I do think that this Sensational 6 team, when they do release the second half, is going to be pretty good. So I'm looking forward to that. So we'll do Shadow and Cauldron. I may move Cauldron down here. So we'll put Cauldron down here. We'll put the heals down here because we really want to take advantage of Triton. So that means Frozen. We've got stealth and stuff going on. So with stealth, something like Hades Potion would be good. So maybe we'll bring Hades Potion down to this team. We've still got the hammer. I think the hammer is going to be the best for the Big Hero 6 because they're all downtown heroes outside of yokai. Let's try that. We'll kind of figure out. Maybe we'll do Thunder Mountain Boom up here instead of the clock tower, and then we'll kind of work through that a little bit. All right, so let's take this in. I think this is still good with skills wise. I think we're good. 4,000 team. Again, could be a little bit better. We still have Fred that needs to come up to T7. We still have Yokai that needs to come into T7. But at this point, we have to have 7 stars. T6, or actually T5 are better to be at the tier 5. Once we get to Heroic, it's going to be T6 or better. So we're going to see how this goes. All right. So looking forward to it. Like I said, I haven't even seen this battle. I did see a little bit of Glut from people battling against that earlier. We did just get some messages a little bit ago that T5 has been taken down by one of the top clubs. So it is possible within a day. Again, we're about a little over a fourth done. All right, so at this point, these guys pretty much have the same skill set. So it doesn't really matter too much of what we're going to hit. Stun's not going to work, but slow does. So we're going to hit the slow first. See if we can hit the slow on the characters, which we did. We've got Charm. It's not my favorite there, but that's okay. We've got a hit and a cleanse. Oof, go taking a hit right there. So we're gonna do some hits to try to get some defense down. Still looking good so far. At this point, I think we're just going to throw up the shields, see if we can kind of help that out a little bit. And again, when it comes to these raids, don't expect to essentially beat them pretty easily. Most of the time you're going to die while you're doing it, so it's just trying to inflict as much damage as possible. Okay, so we have multiple turn charm here. So we've got some charges, we've got 3 charges. I think at this point we just got to go ahead and do this continual damage. And we will bring back Go-Go, because at this point we got to use our hammer. Go-Go is a good target. Just throw our continuous damage down. We've got a couple of them there. Go-Go's still taking those hits. There goes Yokai with his. Alright, so Yokai isn't coming up anytime soon. We're actually going to throw it over to him because he's going to be able to get our spires. And I wasn't paying attention because at this point we can't speed up. That was a wasted turn. So note to self, Flotsam Jetsam. Big Hero 6, not as good. Still going to throw out the spires. Maybe we can get something going here. We got Bucket of Soldiers, which is very good. This is going to increase our damage over time, especially with the spires. Throw our bucket over here. Get our assist going. We're going to go ahead and throw up, I guess, Taunt just to kind of get Go-Go, which Go-Go's probably going to die when it comes to our turn anyway. But we're going to go ahead and do this. Helpful immunity. Got some assists going on again, and we can see Flotsam Jetsam's life. They are 2 different bars, so really you want to focus on one of them to try to take the one down first. So Go-Go is down at this point. Charm is not great. Just trying to do again the big damage rather than the basic. Not 100% sure because I haven't done this in a while, but I'm not sure if the bucket is going to help or not when it comes to the charm. Don't think it will. Oof, there goes our spires, there goes our yokai. Not looking too good. Instant defeat. Again, the charm here. Charm is not too fun. Gonna slow him down, see if we can do that a little bit. We've got 4 charges, so let's put some continual damage up. It's not looking too good. There goes Honey Lemon. Bucket's gonna hit red. Bucket may end up being one of our maybe highest damage dealers of this particular raid. That's quite alright. Oof. Continuous damage is pretty rough there. So I think next we're probably going to try our other Oceanic team. So not too good. Not too good, 47, 267, but we'll continue here. So that's probably on the lower side. I was hoping for a little bit more than that, but some notes to self as we're doing that. We know we can do better the next time around. Kind of want to save our Little Mermaid team towards the end, just because I think they're going to be pretty good. At least I'm hoping they're going to be pretty good. So I want to use some of these other teams first. So we've still got Frozen. We've still got the other Oceanic. So I think what we want to do, I want to kind of save again the Oceanics a little bit. So we're going to use Frozen. Like we mentioned, we're going to put Doctor in place because Doctor also has a little bit of a cleanse with him. We're going to put Baymax down here and Stitch. So let's try some Frozen with the Doctor. Let's actually just double check because I haven't looked at my Doctor in a little while. So level 50, T5, a little soft. If he can kind of dodge some attacks, we should be okay. So let's give that a try. Select this. Like we said, we want to take Cauldron away. We'll put Potion. Actually, I don't think Potion was even right because they weren't really getting any bonuses there. So let's instead let's do Blue Fairy Magic. See if we can't. I don't think that's gonna work either. That's only one. So instead, let's go with. This is tough. This is tough. Let's try fairies. They're not going to be able to get slept, but maybe the reduced speed meter can do something. With them. So we'll try that out. Like we said, we're going to switch out Olaf for the Doctor because we can use Trolls, and if Trolls die, then the Doctor's going to get the heals, which are going to help with kind of the poison effects. We're going to do Shadows, so we can shadow the Doctor as well to get those heals out. So we'll see what this team can do. It is a little bit lower than the last team, but I think we should be good. I guess the other thing we probably could do in a future raid is maybe use Bucket of Soldiers here with Trolls and things like that, just to bump up that damage. So maybe that's something we'll look at kind of in the future, maybe tomorrow in the raid. So let's jump into this one. So we're still going to focus on the one enemy rather than kind of splitting up the damage. We're going to just keep going at the one, see if that's kind of helpful. Okay. All right. So this is not really going to do anything. The silence doesn't work, so we're just going to use some basic attacks. They tend to do a little bit more damage. I think I'm going to throw out a Troll first. And then we don't really need heals yet, so we're just going to do some basic damage. It's not really going to do anything with the Trolls, but I'm hoping maybe the Trolls can get their attention and they'll leave my guys alone. It's not necessarily looking like that, but maybe we'll get lucky here. Oh wow, so Charm there. That pretty much just took out my team. Is what I would say at that point. Yeah. So this is just restoring health, giving, crits, which could help, I guess. But I do think that that's actually going to hurt me a little bit because I think he's going to still assist when Kristoff attacks. Alright, so Polymorph is not going to do anything. So I'm going to actually put the taunt over on our Troll. Let's see if we can't take a couple of these charms and really focus them off of our characters. Saw a little bit of that poison kind of go away. Well, there goes the Doctor. The Doctor's gone. The Doctor is down. Which was our healer. And these guys are definitely getting a lot of turns. So now we're just going to kind of start going straight damage at this point. I think we're just going to go ahead and do... We're not getting up to our ultimate, so might as well start doing a little bit of that. So I think at this point it's... We'll throw another troll just... Actually, I don't think so. I was going to try to go troll, but I think at this point we need to get damage going. That is not looking good for spin there. I am hoping, you know, the Triton team, we're going to have a lot of cleansing. So if they can just stay around, we'll put Baymax out first to put the taunt out, which may help a little bit. So let's see what we can do first. I'm trying to see if I can get some of these pieces off like that. Somehow Elsa has gone off now. So now we can create some shadows. And then let's see if we can't do as much damage as we can with Elsa. So those are some big charms. Not looking good, but if they attack each other, I'm fine with that. Spin is down. We still have our shadow. And then I think at this point we want to kind of see if we can get as much damage as we can with Elsa. So we're going to put the taunt on Kristoff. Try to get a little bit of focus over there. So we can just start using our Elsa. So that's some pretty good damage right there. We're going to see if this will decrease speed meter. It did, so that's pretty good. Kind of really what we wanted to see. We know it won't sleep, but at least if we can do that, it gives us a couple more turns to kind of do something. If we can get Elsa back, which she should still have her her other ability with her stasis, as long as I guess she doesn't get the instant death, which Kristoff got, which is better. And maybe in this matchup it's actually going back and forth, so you're not giving speed meter all to the one. Again, not really sure. We're still trying to figure it all out, but I think that's a good thing. Hopefully she's going to have her ultimate. There we go. So this is some big damage here. At least should be not as much. She doesn't have all the ups and things that she normally would, but so we'll see if this team does a little bit better than the last one. Not really. Still not seeing some big damage. A little disappointed there too. Again, we're all learning what some of the best teams are. I am definitely way down to the bottom somewhere here at this point. So we're at 41, which is pretty pitiful. But luckily, most of these guys have 5 attacks. We'll see what we can do. All right, so we've got 2 Oceanics that we talked about. And then our 5th team, we'll see what's kind of going to go on there. So Oceanics, we'll go ahead and start with our big Oceanic team. The problem we do have is the assist that Bubbles really wants to do, and this is the reason why I put Shadow somewhere else, is not going to work here because they're going to be essentially at the ability where they can't do that. So that is not so great, but we're going to use this, and I think we're going to plug Zerg into Stitch's slot there. And then again, we're going to plug Baymax down with this team plus Stitch. And then we'll work on the skills there. And then we still have a dash. Our dash isn't great. He doesn't have a lot of skills or anything like that. So that's another reason why. Unless I wanted to put Zerg somewhere else. So I could put Zerg more with a team here or something like that. But let's see what we got. We'll take away Stitch like we said. We've got a couple different characters we can use. I think Zerg's going to be our biggest damage because we may put the ducks in our final 15 just because they have decent damage, and we'll kind of see what's left over at that point. So we're going to throw Zerg here. We've noticed that they're kind of focusing on our back team a little bit more than our front team. I know with Glut, he kind of focused more on your front team. So we're gonna give this heal back to our Triton team because I really want to stack up as much as I can synergy wise there. We're gonna do Cauldron and Grandma Tala with them. So we're gonna try Zap. Zap's one of those spells that I think has actually become a lot better now. It ignores the defense. So ignore 75% defense. So now there's a spell that I'm actually going to be going after to level up, just so that it can do a little bit more damage. But I believe that's probably going to be one of the best spells to use for this particular team. We still don't really have a great cleanser in this team, and I think that that's going to be one of the big things. But we do have a little bit of heal, and it isn't necessarily cleanse, but it's heal in this one. So. Let's try this one and see how we end up. Still not feeling too great so far just about the raid and the damage that I'm doing, but again, I'm sure most people are feeling like this on the higher tier raids. You're used to not losing, used to not dying in different PvE type situations, but at this point, it's working together as a club, doing as much damage as you possibly can. So we had a lot of good damage coming out right there. We don't have defense. Oh, we do have defense down. And right here, if we look at it, we've got it'll do an extra attack. Oh, if it's affected by slow, so that isn't really going to help there. So we're going to go ahead and use this one. See if we can get a couple hits all around out here. I guess that's not going to go back and forth. So we got a taunt over here, so we can't steal the speed over here. Stun's not really going to help. So let's see if we can just kind of steal some speed over here. Give it over to Bubbles. This is going to give us a cleanse, so I kind of don't necessarily want to use it just yet. It can speed up. Haste offense up for 2 turns. So maybe I'm actually going to go ahead and give it to Zerg. So we'll give it to Zerg. So assisting is not going to work now with Bubbles. We can do our blaster. He's already got a good bit of damage on there, so we can definitely do that. And I think that's where I'm going to start. So we got slow down, which is great, doing some extra damage. Doing some big damage there. Again, if we had the assist going with Bubbles, this would be so much better, but you're not going to get it here. This charm right here is actually pretty bad. So this would be a spot where a cleanser would really help. It's not going to help poison, but it's going to help the charm. So for future raids, good to know. We're going to throw up Maui's taunt. So maybe we can take a couple of these bigger shots. Throw out Zap. We've made it through all of the charms, which is great. I think our basic actually does more damage than the other spell at this point. See if we can't add tactics. I think Maui's going to die on his turn start with all that poison that you can see. Invulnerable, that's actually awesome. So that cleansed him, created invulnerable. He can't be taken down right now, which is great. Going to get 2 turns out of that. Got some charms going on again. Definitely not really what we want to see. So Zerg is definitely not surviving. Okay. So Zerg was almost dead anyway. Same thing with Moana. They can keep hitting Maui all they want, which is great. Alright, so we're gonna zap over here. So we got 6 charges, his health is down. So I still feel like this is gonna do more damage. If his health was way further up, then the stomp would do more damage. Alright, so that team is down as well. Definitely cracking the 100,000, which is great with that team. You know, if Zerg was T7 at this point with some more upgrades, we definitely could have gotten some more damage there. But I like that. I like that team. Maui, Gantu really did some good work there. Moana was pretty good when she had the slow on the target. So kind of working her plus Gantu was nice. I think Zap kind of surprised me a little bit because that's level 1 Zap. So level 3 Zap is where it gets its damage. So Zap may actually be a pretty good spell as far as damage goes. You know, the Thunder Mountain Boom, it's okay. You know, 5,000 damage, you're only going to get it off once. It's not stunning, so I don't know. I don't know about that one as much. We got 2 more teams to take in. Just want to confirm real quick. We got 2 more teams to take in. Yeah, so we've got 3. And so I think we're going to take in, we're going to wait on Trident. I want that to be the final team we take in. That way, if it's a bust, it's a bust. But I really hope it's going to be the best team. So with that being said, let's start with the Ducks. They're T7. And let's kind of see who else we have kind of lingering around in the higher levels. We'll start with the Ducks. Donald and Daisy are pretty good as far as skills and all that good stuff. I wish Gizmo was doing a little bit better than he was. So we're going to look at Gizmo and Scrooge and see what we can do here. Like we said, these 5 right here are going to be together. So we do have Olaf. Olaf's not great, but he can give tactics. He can give some good spells there. We also have, I think the Kingdom, if I can get those guys up to T6, T7, they'll be a good team to take in here. I can also put in Chunk, which would give us 1 more Taunter as a possibility, but I think the Cleanse may be good. I'm probably going to leave Scrooge in. We have Money Dive if he can get to it. Gizmo's kind of the one that I'm not so sure about. He's a little bit weaker. So I'm going to put, even though he's not a duck, he's not going to get the bonus. I'm going to put Chunk in here because I think he's going to last a little bit longer. We're going to use the die to try to help out the way these ducks and everything work. So we're using those 2 on the other team. So I think Iago is a cleanser as well. It is not. So he just takes away their stuff. Has the word purge, but means for the other side. I think if I had this level 2, it'd probably be worth it. So we've got some cleansers going on. We do have taunt. I don't think taunt's going to be a big deal because we are still attacking the taunter. So let's try Blue Fairy Magic, because that could really help Scrooge. So let's try that. It could help Donald as well. So what I'm talking about is, let's see, Donald with his hammer, he's going to do extra damage per status effect on Donald Duck. And again, this is status effect. It doesn't matter if it's helpful or hurtful. And then Scrooge with Money Dive, he's getting extra bonus per helpful effect. So there may be a way of doing Money Dive with Blue Fairy Magic to kind of bump up that damage. So let's try this out. We've got two taunters as well. Goofy can also cleanse. Definitely a smaller score here than the last couple teams we've been using, but I think it's worth a try. And definitely, if you enjoy watching this, I stream on Twitch, so Twitch/DefaultDan. Definitely check that out. We stream on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we actually have we pretty much Wednesdays are patch notes, and then Mondays we've been having some guests, things like that, just hanging out, having fun. So definitely make sure check that out if you are interested in more DSA content. All right, so we can either go empowered, gaining the taunt and everything, which I don't want to just yet. So we're just going to do our basic attack, because if they hit Daisy in any way, Donald is definitely going to get empowered, which is going to happen. So I don't even really need to waste a turn with that skill. It's not good though. We're seeing a lot of focus on Daisy. All right, so we're gonna wait on Money Dive right now. Really want to get a couple more things going on. Then you get our taunt over here, which is gonna be good. Kind of take the pressure off of these guys for a little bit. So we can remove one spell. We don't necessarily want to use our taunt yet. Goofy really doesn't have anything yet, so we're just going to do a basic attack. I don't like doing basic attacks, but I think waiting till Goofy gets some stuff on there is where it's going to really matter. Getting the assist from Donald was pretty big right there. Alright, so now Goofy doing that move is actually going to be pretty good. Our assists are away, so that is not as good, but let's do some big damage with Donald. I was hoping Blue Fairy Magic would be up. So we're going to give it one more turn. This is a risky move, but Money Dive's really just not going to be great at the moment. We really want Scrooge to last one more turn, come back around to his turn. So we got Blue Fairy Magic, really what we want to be at. We're going to throw out, the problem is these are going to speed up those guys, but their speed's pretty low right now, which is okay. So before we do that, we want to definitely flip these. Didn't flip them, just kind of healed them. So that was a little bummer there. Right. All right, so at this point, I mean, he's dying next turn, so we got to go ahead and do our Money Dive. do our little bit of damage. I was really hoping for something much bigger than that, but not really sure why the wand didn't flip all of those. Maybe I misread the spell. Again, I never use it. Got it from the tower. We're going to do our die. We're going to also go ahead and do our taunt. Let Goofy do his thing and dance, so maybe we can get some pressure off of Donald. I really want to be empowered, but I don't want to give Donald taunt. Okay. So Donald should at least get one more hit in. Maybe he can get a turn. He's not just gonna die. Maybe not. It's a lot of poison there. So we'll get our final hit in there. See what that does. So not as impressed with that team. Definitely a throwaway team, but didn't really do anything that I thought it would. You know, was hoping there was a little bit more synergy there. But now we're going to bring in our final attack here. Let's see how far up we can get on the board. We're definitely way down here. We're at 16 now. So if we can get another 100,000 damage or something like that, maybe we can break this top 10. Don't foresee us getting in the top here, but I would say this is pretty much the best team that I can think of for this match. As far as the way they're going to work. So let's put Baymax over here. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Baymax. We're going to put Eric over here, another taunter. We're going to use Triton's Raid. So the whole point of this is to use this whole, every time they heal, they're going to get 10% speed meter. There's a lot of heals that are on this team. We're going to be able to kind of funnel a lot of damage over to Baymax. If the charm goes down, it's going to hit off of Baymax and hit Ariel, which is not as big of a deal. And for Triton, probably, unless we need to do a big cleanse, we're just going straight up damage with them and seeing where that goes. So, you know, we'll definitely see. We've got heals here. We've got Cauldron to kind of get these spells going back up. And for Stitch, we're going to be doing our basic to get him up to his 4 arms as fast as possible. So, crossing the fingers here, we can get some big damage like we saw with Elsa. Alright, so we're going to go Enrage like we mentioned. Doing a lot of damage here. It is random, so we may not hit the one we necessarily want, but alright, so again, we are definitely just going with our basics here. I do wish my Triton was T8 because this right here would be okay, killing Ariel. Alright, so Baymax is going to have Charm, so we're going to go ahead and throw out our Taunt. Again, it's going to push a lot of this okay, so helpful immunity, can't do that. So let's go ahead and do our big cleanse at this point. I would keep going attack wise, but I think we need to see if we can remove some of this stuff. Again, keep going with the arms, because once we get our 4 arms, Stitch should be doing some pretty good damage. I was really hoping to get one good heal off with Ariel, so that's a little bit of a bummer. think Triton's could be in a bad spot, to be honest. So we're gonna put our taunt back up, do a little bit of cleansing on Triton. Didn't work. I was really hoping we'd get something good there. That poison is pretty rough. I was hoping we may get one more turn out of him. So I don't know if we'll be doing as much damage as I was really hoping with this particular team. That's really where I wanted to get to, with Stitch with 4 arms, Triton, you know, every time he's healing, Triton speeding him up. We still do have the bonus here. So Baymax has the taunt, so I don't really think there's a great reason to throw this down. I guess it does more damage, but I guess we'll just go ahead and do this. We're also going to get crit immunity. It does open up Eric as being the one that's going to get the instant death. But Stitch is doing some work here, which is great. We can go ahead and cleanse and heal. I should have used my Grandma Tala, but that's okay. Can do that in a second. So Stitch is still doing some pretty good damage here. We're gonna go ahead and heal Stitch, cleanse Stitch. At least get some of the other stuff off of there. There goes Baymax. So we got him vulnerable with Stitch. It's not as good because he's now going up, but so it may be good to use somebody like, I'm just thinking through this, maybe like Barley with Stitch. So Barley's going to give him guaranteeing crits, some crit power. So it could be something where Stitch can do some bigger damage. So a little disappointed. Didn't break the 100,000 with that team. Definitely lost Triton way too early in that particular matchup. And so what I need to find, I was hoping Baymax would kind of take a lot of that damage, let our guys kind of get set up. Didn't really happen, so we need to really see maybe there's better combos to build around Stitch within that team. But yeah, so let's see where we kind of ended up. Again, lower than I had hoped. We did break the top 10, which is good. 311,000 for the night. So we probably got a couple more people, I'd imagine, that still need to go. We've at least got one more, and maybe I'm hoping a couple of these guys have a couple more teams they need to attack with. Maybe they were holding back right before the refresh. But, you know, can't complain. Ninth in the club currently in the raid. I know we're all still experimenting, so I'll probably switch up those teams a little bit tomorrow, see if we can do some more damage. Maybe, hopefully, we can get into the next phase. So definitely, if you like this, check it out. If you like content, DSA, like I said, I stream 2 days a week. Planning on starting to put more DSA content up on YouTube. Going to be doing some DSA 101s, some 201s, things like that for new players, as well as players that are just trying to really look at their teams, skills, abilities, and other content like that. So definitely check it out on Twitch. So twitch.tv/defaultdan. Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern is when we start. Usually stream for a couple hours. So definitely stop in and say hey. But again, appreciate all you guys for hanging out with me. And definitely look forward to putting out the next video.